Good morning and welcome to the Saturday special of Dr. Lamba's Awakening. Yesterday there were two major news and both are cataclysmic and are really a tinderbox. One was about Iceland, that 162 billion tons of ice has melted and gone into Atlantic Ocean. When I talk of 162 billion tons, it's a huge number. Yes, the result is that the level of the Atlantic Ocean rises by zero point 0.1 millimeter, which is 0.02 inches. Not a significant number, but the fact that this huge amount of ice has melted shows the climate change, which I say is there. The only fear is that this might escalate. But then there's nothing much the humans can do because the human endeavor can only reduce or change it by about 25%. Rest 75%, as I've discussed many times, is the natural process. But there are other tinderbox. There's something with the human beings can address, and that is Kashmir problem. Recently, about 5 days back, government of India sent 10,000 troops, 100 companies, and then they followed by 25,000 troops. Today, more than 90,000 troops have been added to Kashmir. That means that the whole of Kashmir is practically a military camp. The Amarnath pilgrimage has been cancelled and the pilgrims are being flown out of Kashmir. The shelling across the line of control has increased and Pakistani shelling is going up. Some mines have been recovered with Pakistani money. And the rumor mill is very strong. The news is coming that on the 15th of August, Prime Minister Modi from the ramparts of the Red Fort would declare Article 35 and Article 370 to be abrogated, and Jammu and Kashmir would be divided into three parts: Leh Ladakh, Jammu, and Kashmir. Jammu would become a state by itself, Leh Ladakh would become centrally administered territories, and Kashmir would be a state. Jammu would be a Hindu majority state, Kashmir would be a Muslim majority state, Leh Ladakh, Buddhist areas, would be centrally administered. Now, if this thing happens, this is going to be extremely bad for India. Reason being that you have created a state based on religion, and that goes against the ethos of the constitution and the culture of the country. Secondly, Kashmir by itself, divide of Ladakh, Leh, and Jammu area, you are handing it over on a platter to Pakistan. Nothing makes sense. As a matter of fact, it's not very difficult. The whole Kashmir problem can be solved in about 3 hours, but it needs guts, courage, and vision to do it. And this is a two-pronged strategy. One prong I had discussed in one of my programs earlier, that Indian government has gone deaf and mute on Chitral. By a treaty of 1879, which Chitral signed the Maharaja of Chitral, signed with the Maharaja of Kashmir. He accepted the suzerainty of Kashmir because earlier both were a part of the Khalsa Darbar. And the British had sold Jammu and Kashmir to Raja Gulab Singh for 60 lakh rupees after they had conquered Punjab. Chitral was a subsidiary or a vassal state of Kashmir from the very beginning, so they sided new territory. And by this territory, all rights of Chitral are vested in Jammu and Kashmir ipso facto. When India became independent and Jammu and Kashmir became a part of India, by law, Chitral should have come to India. It was a violation of the Treaty of 1879 that India did not get Chitral and never even talked about it. Once in 1953, somebody did, and that Joint Secretary was asked to shut up. Why? I don't know. So one prong of the solution, simple solution, is that the government of India should go to ICJ, International Court of Justice, for the Treaty of 1879 to be reinstated, and as such, Chitral be handed over to India. I know it's not a piece of cake which Pakistan is going to agree, because Chitral is a very crucial area, and 7 countries have a border there. But then you are putting a spoke in the wheel of terror promoting countries, and then the offense is always the best defense. And when you are demanding Chitral, they'll be busy protecting their right to Chitral. Let's see what happens. But then India has a legitimate claim on Chitral. Now the second part is a more crucial part. And that saves money. You don't have to do the work of abrogating Article 35 or Article 370. This proposal was given to Mrs. Gandhi way back when Punjab militancy was the height. But the then Home Minister shut down this proposal because of his selfish interest. Gyani Zail Singh did not want Darbara saying the then Chief Minister of Punjab to be successful. So he did not like this proposal to be given, and he said that it should not be there. And then Bhajan Lal, Chief Minister of Haryana, and Bansi Lal, Defense Minister of India, also didn't want it, because what would have happened if this proposal had been accepted? Then they would have lost all political clout. Jammu and Kashmir naturally didn't like it because the Chief Minister there would have lost the clout. The terrorists didn't like it because that would take away their all privileges of provoking tension. Sikh fundamentalists didn't like it because that will knock the bottom out of. Excuse me. Yes, I was saying Sikh fundamentalists wouldn't like it because that will demolish their demand for Sikh homes. So what's the proposal? Simple. But as I said, it needs courage, it needs initiative, it needs vision. And it's constitutionally very appropriate. What can be done is to use the constitutional right of the federal government, which we call the central government in India. Now, in the Indian constitution, there are 3 powers. Federal powers with the central, state powers with the provinces, and the concurrent power where both state and the center can legislate. But in case of a conflict, central laws take precedence. Now, in the Constitution, it's written that is the responsibility and within the power of the federal government to change the boundaries of the province, a state. A, to create new states. B, to merge states. C, to take any action regarding changing, merging, dividing, or creating new states. And there is no check and balance on this right. It was under this privilege that the States Reorganization Commission was appointed and new provinces were created, like Maharashtra was created, Gujarat was created, Punjab, Haryana were created. Recently, Telangana was created, Andhra Pradesh was created, and so on and so forth. Assam was divided into Nagaland and other areas. So history is replete. Under this, the government can order a new province merging Jammu, Kashmir, Punjab, Haryana, and Himachal. Now, it will have three benefits to India. A, we would be having no problem of extremism. Both the Sikh fundamentalists, and the Muslim fundamentalists, the terrorists, would be in a microscopic minority. And the demand for their homeland and secession would be knocked out. B, the expenses would be reduced. Instead of 5 chief secretaries, you have 1 chief secretary. Instead of 5 chief ministers, you have 1 chief minister. Instead of 5 governors, you have 1 governor. Instead of 5 DGPs, you have 1 DGP. And so on and so forth. So the financial aspect being so much, the money saved can be used for the social transformation process. B, no dissident religion is in majority, but they're all the citizens. And C, you do not provoke unnecessary confrontation with the opposition by abrogating Article 370 and Article 335 because they become infructuous. The moment Jammu and Kashmir state is not there, to whom does this Article 370 apply? To nobody. And as such, the demand for abrogation has no meaning, and the opposition to the abrogation has no meaning. A simple decision by the president on the recommendation of the prime minister can solve the whole matter in a matter of 2 hours. Half an hour to dictate the letter, 15 minutes for the signatures of the prime minister and the cabinet, 15 minutes for going to the president's Rashtrapati Bhavan, 5 minutes for the signature, and then a call. And of course, this action of the president would be approved by the parliament later on, but in parliament there's a majority. And this is not such a matter which would create a national ruckus. As a matter of fact, people would be happy. Sensible people, Of course, the politicians won't like it. Self-serving, selfish, greedy. They would not like it because they want their pockets of influence and they'll be gone. But the country would gain. And then, automatically with this, the line of control should be termed as border, with a proviso that we have some areas in Azad Kashmir which need to come to us, Chitral to come to us, Hunza to come to us. There are about 15 areas which India can claim. So the whole structure of the fight changes. It's like a war. You are closing one front and creating new fronts for the enemy to fight on. And all those fronts are not military confrontation. They're legal confrontation. So we'll be saving on unnecessarily spending our soldiers' lives, wastage of those precious lives. We are saving on finance. The only loser would be the politicians and some bureaucrats. Some, because not all, only at the top level they'll have to be adjustments. Now, this simple formula, as I said when we discussed it with Madam Gandhi, was opposed by self-serving politicians. And Madam Gandhi later on accepted that had she acted on this and implemented it, 1984 would not have been repeated. But today the situation is, what was 1984 in Punjab might be replicated in Kashmir. The same sort of military presence is in Kashmir today as was in Punjab. The same emotions are running high. With the added problem of Pakistan's interference. So today, and I'm sure Modi has the guts. The only problem is his bureaucrats have not given him this option. This option which was prepared in 1969, put up again in 1982. If it had been implemented, the tragedy of Punjab would not have been there. The Sikh murders of Delhi of 1984 would not have been there. Mrs. Gandhi wouldn't have died unnecessarily. General Vaidya would not have died. And Kashmir problem would have been solved there and then. So this simple but innovative solution. Well, I've let the cat out of the bag. And I dare Modi to take action. I dare Amit Shah to take action. I dare Government of India to take action. If they have the guts, they will act on this innovative advice and save the country millions of dollars and millions of lives and have an era of peace in that region. Thank you.